The accuracy's there. Oh, everything about Shedeur Sanders screams he's the quarterback. But if people are going to negative in April, they're going to be negative now because they're going to like, oh, where is he ranked? Forget that. Look at the interceptions that were off of Jerry Jeudy, off of Judkin's shoulder. Batted balls like Burrow had one yesterday. Batted in a pick six. You blaming Burrow for that? No. You're blaming Shedeur for a couple batted balls that were picked off? You shouldn't. Okay, so you're going to be fair here. So
Mel Kiper is calling out the Cleveland media and exposing what he says are straight-up lies about Shedeur Sanders' stats, and he is not holding back at all. If you've been following the Browns this season, you already know it's been a wild ride full of frustration, letdowns, and just a few small moments that gave fans hope. But here's what most people don't see. Behind the scenes, some voices in the Cleveland media have been pushing a story that Shedeur Sanders has failed, that he hasn't met expectations, and that the Browns should already be searching for a different quarterback for the future. And according to Mel Kiper, that story is completely false. He says these media figures are flat out lying about how the rookie quarterback has actually been playing.
That's not changing. That's not changing, though.
It's in great weather and brutal weather conditions. If you're going to sit there and tell me you weren't impressed with the rookie year of Shedeur Sanders.
Kiper made it very clear that the media people pushing the idea that Shedeur Sanders had a bad season are not telling the truth. Think about that for a second. One of the most trusted voices in football scouting is openly calling out local media and accusing them of being dishonest. This is not just a normal disagreement or a simple argument about where a quarterback should rank. Kiper is saying the facts are being twisted, important details are being ignored, and the real story is being buried under nonstop negativity and bias. So, what did Mel Kiper say that caused such a big reaction? He broke down the unfair treatment and double standards being used against Shedeur Sanders in a way that is powerful and hard to deny. Kiper admitted that yes, Shedeur threw interceptions this season. No one is pretending mistakes didn't happen. Turnovers occurred. Errors were made, and there were times when the rookie looked exactly like what he is, a first-year player, learning the speed and difficulty of the NFL. But this is the exact moment where Kiper completely tore apart the Cleveland media's story.
He's the quarterback, but if people are going to negative in April, they're going to be negative now because they're going to like, oh, where is he ranked? Forget that. Look at the interceptions that were off of Jerry Jeudy.
He asked a very simple question that no one in Cleveland seems willing to answer. Why is it okay to destroy Shedeur Sanders for throwing interceptions, while at the same time praising Joe Burrow, who has also thrown interceptions this season, as a great quarterback? When you really think about it, the hypocrisy is shocking. Joe Burrow is a proven veteran. He has been in the league for years. He's had multiple training camps, endless first-team reps, and full support from his organization. And yet, when Burrow throws interceptions, the excuses come flying. It's blamed on bad luck, a weak offensive line, or receivers running the wrong routes. But when Shedeur Sanders, a rookie playing his very first NFL season, throws interceptions, everything changes. Suddenly, he's not a franchise quarterback. Suddenly, he's labeled a bust. Suddenly, the Browns are told to move on and find someone else. That logic makes no sense. And Mel Kiper is calling it out for what it really is: a clear double standard that has nothing to do with honest football analysis. And here's the part that makes this whole situation even more frustrating for anyone who cares about fairness and facts. Shedeur Sanders is still a rookie. He's a first-year player who walked into one of the toughest situations any young quarterback could face. This was not a team with a strong offensive line, proven weapons, and patience to let a young player grow. This was Cleveland, a franchise desperate for answers, dealing with injuries, inconsistency, and the pressure of decades of quarterback failures. Mel Kiper broke it down clearly and explained why the media narrative is flat out wrong. Before the season even started, Shedeur Sanders did not get a single first-team rep. Let that sink in. Not one first-team rep. The Browns threw him straight into the fire. They didn't give him proper preparation. They didn't give him time with the starting offensive line. They didn't give him the chemistry that comes from working with the first-team offense in training camp and preseason. Instead, they basically said, here's the ball. Good luck. Let's see if you survive.
Get them into the right calls. I think he can get them lined up. I think he can complete passes, get the ball out quickly, and keep the chains moving and not turn the ball over. And that's what they're looking for, right?
Think about that for a second. Lloyd was completely fine with Shedeur Sanders sitting on the sidelines, not getting real chances to develop, while another quarterback received constant praise. There was no outrage, no concern, no pressure on the coaching staff to do better. But the moment Dillon Gabriel failed, and Shedeur finally got his opportunity and started picking up wins, everything changed. Suddenly, that same Jason Lloyd turned on him. The tone shifted overnight. Articles started coming out. Statements were made claiming Shedeur Sanders could not be the Browns' QB1 next season. That sudden switch tells you everything you need to know, and it proves exactly the point Mel Kiper has been making all along.
Gabriel will become the first quarterback to make his initial NFL start in one of the international games. Jason Lloyd with his thoughts on Dillon Gabriel.
I actually think Dillon is going to be competent. I don't think he's going to be a star. I don't think he's not throwing for 300 yards or anything like that. But I do think he's going to get them into.
The nerve is unbelievable. The lack of self-awareness is shocking. And the dishonesty is exactly what Mel Kiper Jr. is exposing for the entire football world to see. Where was Jason Lloyd's journalistic integrity when it actually mattered? Where was his voice during the offseason, fighting for the rookie to get a fair chance? It was nowhere to be found. He was silent. Completely silent. But now that Shedeur Sanders has stepped up and proven what he can do in the toughest possible situation, suddenly Lloyd has plenty to say, and none of it is positive. So let's clear the air right now, because someone needs to speak the truth through all this noise. Shedeur Sanders is the Browns' only real hope at quarterback right now. That's not exaggeration. That's not blind loyalty. And it's not ignoring his mistakes. It's simply recognizing the reality of Cleveland's quarterback situation and acknowledging what Shedeur has already shown in very limited chances. When you actually look at his performances, there is no denying the impact he's made. The facts are there, even if the Cleveland media refuses to admit it. Let's start with the Raiders game. In that game, Shedeur threw his first NFL touchdown and finished with 206 passing yards. Combined with Myles Garrett's dominant defense, the Browns won the game. That matters. That's a rookie quarterback stepping into a tough environment and delivering when his team needed him. This wasn't garbage time stats. This wasn't a meaningless game. This was real football in a game the Browns had to win. Shedeur stayed calm, made smart throws, moved the offense, and did exactly what was asked of him. The result was a victory. And yet, the Cleveland media didn't celebrate it. They didn't stop to say, maybe there's something here. Instead, they shifted the goalposts and searched for new reasons to complain. And then came the Titans game, and this is where Shedeur Sanders truly showed what he can do. In that game, he nearly brought the Browns all the way back by himself. He threw 4 touchdowns and piled up 364 passing yards. Read that again, 4 touchdowns, 364 yards. As a rookie, with no proper first-team reps in training camp. Those are elite numbers. Those are stats veteran Pro Bowl quarterbacks are praised for, and Shedeur did it after being thrown into the fire with almost no preparation. He picked apart the Titans' defense, stood tall in the pocket, and kept his team alive in a game that was slipping away. So, what's the excuse now? Are these numbers invisible to the critics? Are they not watching the same games everyone else is watching? Or are they so committed to their narrative that they're willing to ignore clear evidence that proves them wrong? Those 364 yards weren't empty stats in a blowout. They were meaningful plays that moved the chains and kept the Browns competitive. Those 4 touchdowns weren't lucky breaks. They were well-thrown passes, smart reads, and calm execution under pressure. Mel Kiper is right when he says the hate won't stop, and Shedeur Sanders is still going to keep getting better. Because here's the truth, the Cleveland media doesn't want to admit rookie quarterbacks grow. They learn. They improve with experience. Mistakes, including interceptions, are part of that process for every young quarterback in the NFL. The fact that Mel Kiper Jr. felt the need to speak out this strongly tells you how bad this coverage has been. He's been doing this for decades. He's seen everything, and still, he felt compelled to call out Cleveland's media by name for how they've treated Shedeur Sanders. That alone should tell you this situation is far bigger and far more unfair than they want fans to believe.